Oklahoma City University has named Martha Berger as its next president. She will succeed OCU President Robert Henry. He will retire on June 30th. Martha Berger, we welcome you into the Oklahomans video studio. It's very nice to meet you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today and braving the parking garages, the construction, the random storms outside, all the obstacles that you had to go through.
Coming downtown is not easy right now, but it's worth it in the end, so that's great.
As it turns out, we are both OCU grads. I spent much of the 90s, I'll say that, going through OCU. It's a fantastic school. You have your MBA from there.
I do. I received mine in the early 90s, 1992.
Okay.
I was working downtown at the time, and I was working at a company that had tuition reimbursement.
Ah, got to take advantage of that.
OCU had a downtown night school MBA program.
Perfect.
So I thought, I'm foolish. Actually, classes were right at the Sheraton. I am foolish if I do not take advantage of that. So I did, and didn't get to spend too much time on campus because my classes were downtown. But still, that's where my connection with OCU began.
I was just on campus 2 weeks ago for the first time in a little while, actually walking around. For one, Alvin's is no longer there.
Right.
It's a Chick-Fil-A.
It's a Chick-Fil-A.
Which may have been dangerous when I was in school if there were a Chick-Fil-A where Alvin's was and a bookstore. But the campus has changed. It's grown a lot.
It has. And it's just still really special. The fact that it's at 23rd Street,
yep.
Our law school's at 8th Street. It's just part of the core of Oklahoma City, which is great. I will say Chick-Fil-A, as a trustee, we participated and had to approve that final contract. And it was one of those opportunities you have to listen, to ask students what they think, listen to their answers, and then make it happen, which is really fun. They wanted a fast food option. We gave them a suite of, they chose Chick-fil-A, and we got to make it happen.
I was about to ask, really so Chick-fil-A bubbled up from the students. They're
from the
like,
students.
We've actually identified we like chicken fingers.
Yes, yes, they do.
Who doesn't, to be
honest?
Who
doesn't, exactly.
But when I was there, I was one of the commuter students for the years that I was there. It's kind of a mix of both. It's commuters, yet a lot of my friends were at Cokesbury or in the dorms.
Right, you bet. It's a kind of a good balance of students that live on campus and those that don't. I will tell you one special thing about the campus that it happened to me just this week. I was at a meeting with Robert Henry. We were leaving his office. I admit, I was looking down at my phone while standing on the steps, figuring out where I was to go next. He had a meeting elsewhere on campus, but we walked out and he said, "Martha, take just a minute and look up." And as I did, on the green, I see students practicing sword fighting.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah, of course they are. And it's not, the fencing team. No, this is, Shakespearean, Elizabethan sword fighting.
Nice.
And President Henry said to me, where else do you get to be inspired by that every day? And I thank him so much for making sure that I took the moment to stop and see that. So campus is a really inspiring, cool place to be.
Something else I noticed was the library was completely different. It's such a digital focus. Back
Yeah.
when I was there, the professors would say, all right, go to the library, find this book, do this studying. It's a different world these days.
It is a different digital world, which, how wonderful is that?
It's great.
No library could have every book, every article that you would need when you were doing research or anything. And so it's really opened up a world, really, of opportunity to the students.
And one last anecdote here. I laughed in the bookstore there. They still had the blue book. Because a lot of professors like, go buy a blue book for your exams. And in retrospect, it's like, why did we have a blue book? But apparently it still exists.
It does still exist. And I know that because my sister and her husband came to town about 3 or 4 weeks ago after I had applied for this job. And I said, we've got to go buy OCU. So we did. We went into the bookstore. My brother-in-law looked down and he said, they still have blue books. He said that very thing. So yes, you are indeed right.
Ah, good and bad memories of the blue books.
Yes, exactly. It was a love-hate relationship for sure.
Are you excited?
I am excited.
You'll take the reins July 1st.
July 1st.
Are you excited?
I am excited. I am a bit nervous. I think it would be strange if I wasn't.
Right.
But I am really excited and energized and a few butterflies, but I have found in the course of my life good things happen when you move a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and you do get those feelings. That's when you grow.
I knew of you, and a lot of people did, your gig at Chesapeake for many,
Yes.
many years, and I'm sure you're involved in many things in addition to becoming the new OCU president. Do you miss the energy business? Are you looking forward to moving into a different realm? You mentioned making some changes.
Oh gosh, that is a hard question to answer.
Because people would always ask me if I left, hey, would you miss the news business? And that's one of my questions to my former colleagues. Do you miss the news business? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no.
Well, the good news is I don't have to miss the energy business completely, because I have so many friends still working in it. I serve on the board of directors for Tapstone Energy.
All right, I figured you were still there.
So, so I get my fix,
Gotcha.
if you will, on the energy business. Actually working in it, oh, I'm happy to move on and leave that to others. You know, it's tough. It's high highs, low. You know, we all know the cyclical nature of that business. So that part is okay to leave behind. But I still get to interact with executives in the energy industry that are, you know, building their businesses and responding to the markets, and I do love that.
Gotcha. You mentioned Robert Henry. You will succeed him July 1st. He's the most recent president. Let me ask you this question. Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett just left. David Holt is the new mayor. One of the things that Mayor Holt did in one of the meeting rooms at City Hall was replace some of the former pictures of past mayors with youth. That was his way of kind of a little bit of a change, a little bit of a mark. Have you looked at Robert Henry's office? Have you thought, Martha Berger is now here?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because we had a meeting in his office. Just when we walked out, we saw the sword fighting. And I looked around and I thought, this is the office of a judge, a former judge,
Sure.
a university president. And then I think of me, and I thought, I think my office is going to be a bit different for sure. And you know, I'll put my stamp on things.
Of course.
I will say, David Holt, OCU grad.
This is true. That's right.
Yes.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere. And yes, we are everywhere. And people are reaching out to me. I had no idea we're OCU grads.
Have you had a chance to think about being OCU president, perhaps areas of growth that you would focus on?
You know, I have. And people have asked me about, you know, my vision for the university, and it stands to reason that it would not be fully formulated at this time. It's too early. I have lots to listen to. I have information to gather. But I think that there are some pillars of what I think that vision is going to include, which I can talk about. But one of them is to maintain our nimbleness, our flexibility that we have as a private institution, to be able to be responsive to business and industry, for instance, in our community, when we think about new programming. And an example of that OCU has already done is their physician's assistant program. Healthcare is a big industry. There is a need for physician's assistants, so they are employable. We have lots of applicants, more than we have positions for, and it's a way that we can develop a program to be responsive to the business and relevant to business and industry in our community. And I see more of that ahead of us.
You're exactly right about that. In our industry and in our community, health is a major player here.
It is.
Speaking of areas to focus on, you have to hire a new law dean at some point.
We do.
Or OCU does.
Yes, OCU does. And you can say we because you are an alumni, so that is great. Yes, and we are in that process now. I have been invited into the process, which would make sense because it is a presidential appointment. And we have narrowed it down to 2 excellent finalists, and the interviews have happened. And as yet, don't have all the feedback from the constituent group, so I don't know exactly when the timing on the decision will be made, but President Henry and I will certainly be talking that through.
Very good. That's another change from when we went through. Law school's now downtown.
I know. It is so exciting. There was an event for President Henry in honor of his retirement held at the law school just last Saturday, and seeing that place with the history that it has and where it is. And you know, OCU is about a sense of place, being in our city, but that law school on 8th Street, it is really in the middle of things. It's great.
Talking with Martha Berger, she will be the next OCU president, Oklahoma City University president, the 18th president, I believe. OCU and the Minders School of Business was one of the presenting sponsors yesterday of the Women in Leadership Conference.
Yes.
Right downtown at the Cox Convention Center. You were there. What did you see and observe?
I was there. I have been there almost from the beginning. And what is so great that under Melissa Curry's leadership, we have grown that to be a really premier full-day conference. And I saw more men in attendance yesterday than I ever have, which was awesome. The speakers are relevant to everyone, not just women, but particularly, I think, to young professional women that are looking ahead in their career and their lives, to hear stories from women who have been there and done that, to see what the research is saying about you know, the world of women in management. It was really, really rewarding.
Melissa is one that helped us set up the interview with the keynote speaker, Rebecca Minkoff, world famous fashion designer. She, in our interview with her, which you can watch on newsok.com, talked about exploring that old school way of 9 to 6, the whole work day of 9 to 6, that perhaps it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. Perhaps it needs to be rethought of present day, how people live their lives. And I know you heard some from her about the work-life balance.
Yes, and you know, she got a direct question about work-life balance and how has she accomplished so much, and she has a family and kids and all these other things that she's interested in. And the thing that I loved about her was just how real and honest she was. First of all, she talked about it has to be a team, and that she has others on her team that she has to rely on. She cannot do it all. She has the same 24 hours in her day that we all do. But she said, you know, the thought of, you know, leaving it behind and going home and putting work out of your mind until the next morning is, in her words, it's just not possible nowadays. So the thought that you can connect in other ways through your phone and all those things, email, is useful on one hand and difficult on another. But she said she tries to squeeze in time. But she really said that work-life balance in the truest sense is hard to accomplish when you're trying to build a big business.
I asked her about, let's say it's a college grad from OCU and they have that corporate gig and they think, hey, maybe the corporate life isn't for me. I want to start my own business on the side. So I asked her, I was like, what about those just getting into the workforce, they have a dream, what do you think? And I thought she was going to go with, yes, follow your dreams. She was like, no, they need to have a business plan, they need to know what their margin is, they need to know what the ROI, and I was like, that is smart business. She clearly got where she's at by having that business mind and realizing that it does take a lot of hard work.
Yes, and what I loved about her is that she was so real about those things and gave real answers. What was also wonderful is that she did sort of an Oprah-style interview, and Valerie Nafee interviewed her. Valerie, who has built her own business.
Quite successful.
And we, in Women in Leadership, have had Valerie speak on panels before, and she is very much the same way. You know, you think you're going to leave the rat race of the corporate world to be able to have all this flexibility and start your own business, but don't think that you're not going to work hard, or just as hard or harder or more than you would have in that corporate rat race. So they both have wonderful, wonderful perspectives.
One of the people I follow in the media video industry, he spoke about freelancing and going out on your own. He's like, you will think that it's just going to be you and the camera. It's going to be glamorous. You're going to travel. He goes, you're still going to spend 90% of your time networking, doing the busy work. It's not just the fun, the stuff that you think is going to be the glamorous, fun stuff. Yeah. One final question for you on this topic. The headline of first female president of OCU. Do you like that? Do you not like that? Do you think, hey, I'm the president of OCU? Why does it have to be defined? Should it be defined?
Boy, that is a good question. And, you know, I think it was a good headline. It was a good headline because it made it to the USA Today.
Okay.
as the news in Oklahoma. I'm not sure it would have if it just said
Gotcha.
Martha Berger named as named president of OCU. So I think it provides you maybe a little bit bigger platform, if you will, to talk about gender success, success for women, gender equality, and all those things. As long as you get the job because you're the right person for the job, and I feel that, and I know that in my bones, and so since I don't question that, I embrace the fact that it's the first female president.
That's a good answer, good perspective, and she'll be the first female president in 114 years that Oklahoma City University has existed. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your success. I'll get you out of here on this. It's Friday the 13th. Are you a suspicious person?
I'm not. Well, or I am on every day. Maybe that's the better answer. No, I'm not a suspicious person.
Martha Berger, ladies and gentlemen, OCU's next president on July 1st. Again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.